There is a place, not here or there, but somewhere in between. There is a space in the thin air that really can't be seen. If you listen and observe, you may be surprised. Some may call it Camelot or even paradise. Some may say you cross a bridge, others through a door. But all I know about this place is that I call it Evermore. Evermore.
Good evening, sweet spirits. Welcome to the show. My name is Suzanne Sorrell, and I'm the host of the Evermore Paranormal Network. On this episode, I will be talking with some members of Legendary Earth, Akamu, Quincy, and Allie Lee. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having us back.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for coming back. So, we wanted to start off this segment and talk about some of your interesting investigations. So, where did it all begin, Akamu?
I would say La Mesa Village of Monterey, California. Not to give off any specific address, but that was probably going to be the film of a second Ghost Hunter spoof that I was making just for fun, you know, with my two little sisters. When I was in high school in Maryland, we did our first one and it turned out great. So I was like, hey, let's do another one. I believe both my sisters were 5 and 9, if I'm not mistaken. And we just like messing with mom's camera because it had night vision and doing a little Ghost Hunter spoof. But after editing the footage, I came across an EVP, electronic voice phenomena, through a voice recorder that I left on the coffee table. And I would have, thought it was just anybody else if it was also caught on the handheld camera I was using. But it was a clear voice on the voice recorder that was not on the actual camera. And that's when I was like, okay, I should probably take these things a little more seriously. Spiked my curiosity, and I started doing some more research, and I actually started documenting, trying to gather evidence of, more stuff like that.
Right.
That's pretty much where it started.
So I watched that video on YouTube, and what I was trying to hear, I couldn't tell what it said. Do you know what it said?
It's very breathy and very whispery. There's definitely an S sound in there. It almost sounds like it's saying it appears. But I wouldn't understand what it was trying to say, really, like what appears, I looked at the videos and I didn't see anything really appearing. But it was definitely somebody who actually was not in the room at the time.
Right. So that was one of your earliest investigations. Now let's jump to a couple recent investigations or cases that involved demonic entities or something demonic.
Yeah.
You've had 2 cases recently. You want to talk about those?
Okay.
Yeah, we could talk about it. You want to start it out?
Yeah, tell us.
Oh, where did it start?
Well, how did you get the case? Did somebody contact you?
We got contacted both times.
First one was in Arlington.
Yeah, first one was Arlington / Georgetown. The other one was near
Knoxville.
Yeah, near Knoxville, Virginia. Both very similar cases. Both had to do with families, different types of families. I don't want to get into too much details.
Right.
But they were both very. One was more extreme because of environmental and paranormal case. The other one was more intense because of more. I won't say environment, but for more of the people involved kind of thing. It was more chaotic. It was more like we don't know what's going to happen next. While the other one was we don't know what's going to happen next, but we're prepared for it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Are you still working on both of those cases? Or
no, we usually try to pass it on after about 2 top 3 visits because we don't want anything to follow us back and make our lives a living hell to the point where we can't help anymore. So.
Did either of the cases involve Ouija boards? I'm just curious because I got some calls from people. One of them?
The first case.
The first one was definitely had to do with the Ouija board,
The second one, there was a lot involved, but there was definitely a pendulum involved that is similar to that of a Ouija board when it comes to opening things or attracting unwanted things.
What kind of things were happening? Like, can you obviously you're not mentioning the names of or location of the place, but what kind of things were happening that were scaring the family?
Yeah, I'll cover the first one. You can cover the second case.
Anything like that?
We didn't witness that. That would be intense. But the first case, it was a case where our client's sister a while back had done a little Ouija board session in her bedroom, and came across an entity that called itself Zozo.
Oh, I know Zozo.
Yeah.
I know of Zozo.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with Zozo.
Now, with these cases, because they're our first and we're not demonologists, we called in some demonologists to help us out with this. Just make sure we were able to help and we weren't going to be stupid about it. And can I say stupid?
Yeah.
Okay. But, yeah, so I didn't know anything about Zozo, really. I try not to read too much into the name. I don't, but so it was. How do you get started with this one? It was everywhere. It was crazy. It was chaotic. That's demonic.
But it started with the Ouija board spelling out Zozo, right?
And
which meant that entity was there, and then it just started causing chaos.
Some hell. Yeah, literally. And they had to get a priest involved and do some exorcisms. We weren't there for that. He was telling us the story, but he was telling us and called us because apparently he had followed him from that house in Georgetown to Arlington, and they have a tiny apartment, and it's just wired with Wi-Fi and circuit breakers and all kinds of it's an amplified location. So like while we were there, he would actually get attacked by this thing, and it got really bad. We were able to seal off his place once he was outside and he felt that it was outside. We sealed off the place. It was unable to get back in, but him returning back to Georgetown and then coming back into his apartment in Arlington, it brought it right back in. Oh, I don't know how really, but supposedly did. But he also he had some history with drug abuse, and he had to deal with the withdrawal effects from that. So it was really hard to decipher the difference. But there were some that we were able to actually document or read on our scientific instruments. And I don't know how he is now. We've kind of lost touch with that. The last time I talked to him, he was on his 3rd or 4th exorcism session with the priest that he himself went out and made contact for. So I'm hoping that they're actually helping. But there's only so much that we can do if we're going to try to maintain our lives to be able to still help other people. And I'm hoping he's getting the help that he's getting right now.
Yes, you got to be careful, definitely. Well, that was intriguing that we filled up a whole segment. So we're going to take a quick break again, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
My journey skating for the gold taught me a lot, but my journey with breast cancer has been one of my greatest teachers.
Every woman's breast cancer is unique. Be Wiser educates and empowers women to take control of their breast cancer treatment plan and help navigate their own path beyond 5 years.
Talk to your doctor about information and tests to personalize a treatment plan that fits your needs. I did. Be informed, be wiser, support survivors like us.
So welcome back. We are talking with Akamu Quincy and Allie Lee of Legendary Earth. So we all went to Ramblewood, haunted Ramblewood in Darlington, Maryland. What were that's what they tote themselves as, haunted. I had never been there. What were your first impressions of the place?
It's a lot smaller than I expected.
Yeah.
A lot smaller?
A lot smaller. It's hard to tell because when we got there it was raining and but it's
Pitch black and
Oh, it was
no
dark when you
street
guys
lights.
got.
Yeah,
we
we
were
got there
there
like-
in the
We
day.
got
Yeah.
there at night.
like 8.
Yeah, so
We were really late.
it
We were
was-
waiting on people.
It was hard to tell, but from the outside, it just seems like an ordinary mansion house, or whatever. But the inside, it was like, yeah, you can tell.
You could feel something.
You could tell just from like the rooms and everything. Just
Did you feel something like, energy, negative, positive kind of stuff when you got there?
In certain areas,
certain
yeah.
areas. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely felt stuff.
Yeah,
So-
definitely in the basement.
Oh yeah, in the
Every-
basement.
Yeah.
I felt mainly the attic
Mm-hmm.
and the main floor that we were at.
Yeah.
That's where I felt everything.
Both of those.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't been there before, and it was raining, and it was cold, and it was miserable. And the Don's John was out front, which was horrible to have to, it was raining, needed to use it. But, I like those old houses. I just, I feel the energy. I would love to have that house and fix it up and live there. But I'll tell you, when I got there, and even when I went in, my first impression a lot of times is I felt nothing. And that's usually when something's really happening for me. I get home, I don't feel it, nothing happens. Then when I get home, I listen to my voice recorders, I'm like, oh my goodness, that was going on. And so, yeah, I did actually have a few, experiences there, personal experiences there. How about you guys? You said you were the basement for you?
Basement, I actually had an initial experience that I just now remembered on the second floor. It was in between. Supposedly there's like a 16-year-old girl that likes to jump up and down on the bed in one of the rooms on the second floor at the end of the hall. When you come upstairs, that room is at the end of the hall on the right. But when everybody came upstairs, we all went left to go up the other set of stairs. And I didn't know anything about this. And when I got to this top steps and turned around, I felt like somebody walked up behind me, and I turned around because I was like, oh, somebody's like following me, and I didn't see, who's this, But then there was nobody there. And I was like, okay, I totally just felt that, It's a very obvious feeling. It's not something that you're, heebie-jeebies or anything. It literally feels like a body, a mass, is walking up on you, and you're like, oh, somebody's following. But yeah.
So,
that was interesting.
how about you? Where did you experience things?
I experienced
everywhere, right?
God, I feel like, especially at the beginning, I felt like everything was happening all at once, kind of thing. I would definitely see like things in the corner of my eye, or like shadows like passing on, like behind me, or like right in front of me, or like when we were upstairs. During the night, which was kind of a little bit of a mistake, but it was mostly in the kids' room up there.
You spent the night in the kids' room, the attic room? Is that where you guys slept?
No, we didn't sleep there, but that's where I was
We're on
the
the first
majority
floor.
of the night. I was in the kids' room and in the school teacher room area, and I just
The cupola, that area.
the cupola, that part. It's definitely one of the first things that happened when we got there was we started doing the EVP session with the group, and it was a man, James, I think. He was conducting the EVP session, and I was right behind me. I think is where the classroom was. Like there was a door, and all of this was dark, and I was like kind of leaning up against it. And he asked if there's anyone here, can you tap? Like, can you do a tapping noise or something? And at the same time, he got tapped on the head. I got tapped on my shoulder behind me.
Wow.
Like,
Where was this at? What part of the house again?
This was the cupola.
On the cupola, okay. Where the woman.
The cupola and the
schoolhouse
school
section.
Okay.
room,
That's where
classroom.
I felt the tapping, and he felt it on his head
At the same time. Wow.
Yeah.
I remember something you mentioned before we got there, maybe a dream or something.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was cool.
I had a dream too, so
me
I'm
too.
wondering if it's the same.
I feels like more of a vision, but yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
What was
That
and I'm
works.
not copying. They already know. I was going to talk about that. Do you had a
Oh.
dream before you? I mean, I was going to tell you, but it might be the same thing. What did you?
Just my vision was, I don't know if I was arriving or leaving, but I just saw I saw the house, and I was just like, attracted to a window. I couldn't tell which window it was. I just knew it was like up, you know, and I just could see someone just looking at me, not just staring at me. And like I was leaving or something, and I saw it, and I was like, and I left, and it kind of happened. Like that detail, but it did kind of happen when we were leaving.
Wow. I had a premonition. Well, it's weird. It was deja vu, actually. I was coming up the stairs. You know the big painting of the woman?
Oh.
Yes.
When I saw the painting, I realized I had dreamed that the night before, or the 2 nights before. I had never seen that painting before. I was there prior to. I mean, I was just taken by the painting. I really felt like I was looking at myself practically. It was a blonde girl in the painting, you know. I just felt something to do with that painting. And being that I saw it before I ever saw it, actually, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys have any other incidents? Because I have a couple other things I want to mention.
Just with me, I think the environment kind of got me sick. And that normally doesn't happen. I mean, I've been in demonic houses and that's never happened. But this one, I know it was a combination of the cold weather and the hot temperature at the same time, plus all the environment with like all the ghosts and spirits. It was a lot to handle for me.
It was overwhelming, especially with your gift.
Energy.
Yeah, and I actually got kind of like if you were to have a hangover, that's what I felt like the day after. And I was just kind of like, it was. I mean, I love the house. Like, I would love to go back. But I was just like, I want to go back during like the summer and spring.
Definitely. So, wow. The only other thing, I had 2 other things that I want to mention is when I was up in the attic room where the kids are seen and play. We were filming for our show, for the road trip show, and while they were talking, I was standing in the corner near the door. Something came up and pulled my elbow from behind. Like I was just standing there, and something pulled, like as if somebody came up and put their hand on my elbow and moved my arm. And I didn't mention it during the filming because I didn't want to interrupt, but everybody said, "Oh, you should have mentioned that." Well, the other thing is, did you see the urn down on the fireplace? Did they tell you about the urn?
Yes.
Yeah.
That it's my urn. It was originally my urn, and it whistles.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you about that. Actually, I mentioned it on another episode, but what was weird about the urn was I gave it away because I wanted to get rid of it, and somebody wanted it, and here I actually end up finding this thing, and I feel like maybe it found me, like it drew me back somehow. So I'm still trying to figure that out. So we're going to take another break,
All right.
and we'll be right back.
Losing weight's a lot harder than gaining it, but with every step, I lower my risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And that makes every step very much worth the effort.
Learn how you can help stop diabetes. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES.
So, welcome back. So, we were talking with Allie earlier, and we mentioned that she was psychic, and we found out that Akamu is also psychic. So, let's hear about y'all. I want to hear what your abilities are, how you learn about, having these abilities, that kind of thing. Who wants to start?
I'll start, I guess. I'm a psychic sensitive. I'm also an empath. Majority of I'm mostly an empath. That's the stronger side. I knew about my thing, I guess gift. I guess I learned about my gift at a very young age. I kind of feel like I could feel when someone liked each other or someone liked someone else without even telling me. Definitely when I was around 13, that's when it really came and came in like a wrecking ball. But it had like the visions, the everything just came in, and I was kind of like, whoa, what's going on? I had like a That's So Raven moment. But and then from there, it's just kind of like, there was moments where it would go up and it would feel like everything, and then it would just be shut off. But around, I guess, my 20s, early 20s, because I'm 25 now, but it's when I really was starting to come into my own and realizing that I'm sensitive, and that I didn't know the empath part till like maybe in 2015, 2014. I knew the name. I mean, probably was the whole time. I just didn't know the name. But yeah, that's how I learned when I was 13.
Same here. I mean, I'm just saying, I know that I've had gifts, but I didn't start like realizing that I knew something was wrong with me. No, I knew I was special. I knew I was special from early on.
Yeah.
And I would sense things like you, but I never really had the name for it until I would go to psychics for readings, and they would tell me, hey, you know you have the gift, right? You should be cultivating this. You should accept it and start. Under that, it really helps you too when you actually accept the fact that you do have a gift. Then the puzzle starts making sense. Your life starts making sense. So I always thought it was like crazy, but I'm sure everybody else did too. But I knew that something was special.
Yeah, I have a love-hate with my empathicness part of things.
I always ask that.
I have a love-hate with that because, again, I just recently, I guess I probably grew stronger, and I didn't really know how to deal with it. And I went to different people, and they were kind of like, well, we don't really know how to help you with that. And I was still struggling. I'm just kind of like, I don't know how to work this thing that I have. I mean, I'm okay with the sensitive part. Just the empath part is the rough part because you have all these emotions. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing, what's going on. But recently, we both found a really good teacher, and she's been kind of guiding us and helping us with the things that are with our psychicness and a more accepting it now. I mean, I still have my rough days where I hate it, but but yeah. So. Yeah.
How about you? When did you realize you were psychic and had the abilities?
Well, I didn't really learn too much about psychic stuff until we found our teacher last year, and she informed us that psychic is kind of an overall general term for those who are sensitive, empathic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, so on and so forth.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And it still sounds weird because like it was ingrained in my head that psychics tell the future and that's it, you know, and which I've done by accident plenty of times, but I'm still learning about it, and I'm still trying to kind of get used to the sound of, hey, I'm a psychic. It sounds crazy. It sounds kind of like I might be lying, but I'm not. Like it's.
I understand because like I said, every other friend of mine is psychic. And I would always go, I always thought that if you're psychic, I should be able to tell you what, like, everything, every moment, and so on.
Right now?
And then I realized, and then I realized, like, that's just a catch-all term. There are all these other, abilities. So now, what do you think you are? I mean, what is your label?
I know my strongest suit, I believe, is a sensitive. I've been dealing with that my whole life. And I've been seeing things my whole life. I don't know to what strength my clairvoyance is, but according to a meditation course that we took, I found out that I'm also clairvoyant. And I'm a natural healer, apparently. I say apparently, not like I doubt it though. Just be like, wow, suddenly like I find this stuff out. But our teacher told me that last year. And apparently I've been working with energy work or light work since I was like 5, and I didn't even know that was a thing that was actually happening. I thought it was just natural, whatever I was doing. So I learned about protection and everything knew, I guess. I didn't really learn it. I just kind of knew how to do it. It's weird.
So you said you wanted to tell me real quickly, because we've got a little bit of time left, about a scary moment that you had?
Oh yeah, totally. It was the Georgetown case, Georgetown-Arlington case, our first demonic case. And I remember we had the guest investigator with us who has a pretty strong background in demonology. And she was ahead of me. It was just me and her going up to the top floor. We didn't get a walk through this place. Everything was very last minute. He would call us at 1 a.m. saying, I need help, you know. And we went into this place trying to document some stuff so we'd be able to provide it to the Catholic Church if it needed to go that far, and hopefully get them immediate help. We were walking into a room, and when she gets to a doorway, she stops, and she's like, I just ran into a wall. And not like a literal wall, but like a wall where your body just freezes, and it knows there's a danger, don't move, don't go in. And I felt that before back in California, but I never pushed past that barrier, and I never knew what it was. Well, here I'm like, oh, I'm familiar with that. I still don't know what it is, but let me just break on through that. So I walked right in because I knew it was there, and I knew like, okay, I can force myself through if I were to feel any kind of resistance. So I walked on in, and I look over at this bed that apparently I find out later was the Ground Zero Ouija session that summoned Zozo.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And there was a woman laying in the bed. First off, there's not supposed to be anybody else in the house. Second off, she was pretty much just as dark as anybody else would be in the room, except she had a kind of a bluish, tingy glow. And she looked right at me, and I was like, nope, walked out. Like, we locked eyes. I knew she saw me. And he tells me later that was Zozo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That was spooky.
So I'd like to hear more about that, but we've run out of time. So where can we find you?
You can find us on Facebook,
Facebook?
Legendary Earth.
Okay.
It's got all of our other
One
social
word,
media
right?
on it.
Was it one word?
One word, yeah.
One word. Well, thank you guys for coming again.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you for
us.
having us.
Hopefully you'll come back again. We've got lots of
Yes.
stuff to tell us.
Look forward to it.
Look forward.
Great.
Yep.
So thank you for watching the show, the Evermore Paranormal Network. Until next time, peace out.
So in the end, what have I said is only that I'm sure. For all I know about this place is that I call it Evermore.